The North American X-15 was one of the most remarkable aircraft ever built, pushing the boundaries of aviation and space exploration. It was a rocket-powered research aircraft developed by North American Aviation for the United States Air Force, USAF, and the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA. Designed during the Cold War era, the X-15 program provided crucial data that contributed significantly to the development of future spacecraft, including the Space Shuttle. The concept of the X-15 originated in the early 1950s when the need for a high-speed, high-altitude research aircraft became evident. The objective was to investigate flight at extreme speeds and altitudes beyond what conventional aircraft could achieve. The United States was in a race to develop technology that would help explore both the upper atmosphere and space itself. The Bell X-1, which had been the first aircraft to break the sound barrier in 1947, paved the way for the X-series of experimental aircraft. However, the X-15 was a much more advanced and ambitious project, aiming to fly at hypersonic speeds and reach altitudes previously thought impossible. The X-15 had a sleek, needle-nose design with short, stubby wings optimized for high-speed flight. Its structure was made from an advanced nickel-chrome alloy called Inconel X, which was necessary to withstand the extreme heat generated by aerodynamic friction at high speeds. Conventional aluminum structures used in earlier aircraft would have melted under the intense conditions that the X-15 was expected to endure. The aircraft was about 50 feet long, with a wingspan of approximately 22 feet. It was powered by a reaction motor's XLR-99 rocket engine, capable of producing 57,000 pounds of thrust. This powerful engine allowed the aircraft to reach speeds exceeding Mach 6.7, or more than 4,500 miles per hour. Unlike conventional aircraft, the X-15 was not designed to take off from a runway. Instead, it was carried aloft by a modified Boeing B-52 Stratofortress to an altitude of about 45,000 feet. Once released, the X-15 pilot would ignite the rocket engine, propelling the aircraft to astonishing speeds and altitudes. Depending on the mission profile, the X-15 could either follow a high-speed, level flight trajectory or a high-altitude, near-space ballistic arc. At the end of its flight, the pilot would glide the aircraft back to Earth and land it on a dry lake bed. The X-15 program officially began in the late 1950s, with the first unpowered glide flight occurring on June 8, 1959, piloted by Scott Crossfield. The first powered flight followed on September 17, 1959. Over the next decade, a total of 199 flights were conducted by a group of 12 pilots, including notable names such as Neil Armstrong, who later became the first man to walk on the moon, and Joe Engle, who would go on to fly the Space Shuttle. These flights provided valuable data on aerodynamics, propulsion, and human factors in extreme flight conditions. One of the most significant achievements of the X-15 program was its record-setting flights. On October 3, 1967, pilot William J. Pete Knight flew the X-15A2 to a speed of Mach 6.7, 4,520 miles per hour, making it the fastest manned aircraft in history at the time. In another milestone, on August 22, 1963, pilot Joseph A. Walker flew the X-15 to an altitude of 354,200 feet, 67 miles, officially qualifying him as an astronaut since he had crossed the internationally recognized boundary of space. In total, the X-15 reached altitudes above 50 miles on 13 occasions, qualifying several of its pilots for astronaut wings. The data collected from the X-15 flights had a profound impact on aerospace development. Engineers studied how the aircraft handled hypersonic speeds and the extreme temperatures generated by friction with the atmosphere. The program provided insight into flight control at high altitudes, helping to develop systems used in later spacecraft, including the Apollo missions. The X-15 also tested early versions of reaction control thrusters, which would later be used on space vehicles to maneuver in orbit. The X-15's legacy extended beyond its research contributions. It played a critical role in shaping the design of future spacecraft and re-entry vehicles. The experience gained in piloting and controlling an aircraft at the edge of space influenced the development of the Space Shuttle, which shared some similarities in its re-entry and landing approach. The program also demonstrated the feasibility of reusable spacecraft components, an idea that would become central to modern space exploration efforts. One of the challenges faced by the X-15 pilots was the extreme environment in which they operated. The aircraft's high speeds subjected it to temperatures exceeding 1,200 degrees Fahrenheit, requiring specialized heat-resistant materials. Pilots also had to endure high G-forces during acceleration and re-entry, testing the limits of human endurance. The cockpit was pressurized, but pilots still wore full-pressure suits similar to those used in space missions to protect them in case of cabin depressurization. The X-15 program was not without risks. Tragically, on November 15, 1967, pilot Michael J. Adams lost his life during Flight 191 when the aircraft entered an uncontrolled spin at high altitude. The excessive aerodynamic forces caused the X-15 to break apart, leading to Adams' death. Despite this setback, the program continued to contribute valuable knowledge, and Adams was posthumously awarded astronaut wings for his flight, which had reached an altitude of 50.4 miles. Although the X-15 program officially ended in 1968, its impact can still be felt in modern aerospace technology. Many of the principles learned from the X-15's hypersonic flights are being revisited today as engineers work on new generations of high-speed aircraft or in space planes. The lessons from the program have influenced the development of hypersonic weapons, experimental aircraft like the X-51 Wave Rider, and even future crewed space missions. The aircraft itself has been preserved for future generations to appreciate. The first X-15 built, serial number 566670, is displayed at the National Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C. Another X-15, serial number 566671, is on display at the National Museum of the U.S. Air Force in Dayton, Ohio. These exhibits serve as a testament to the X-15's role in advancing human knowledge and pushing the boundaries of what was possible in aviation and space exploration. The X-15's pioneering flights laid the groundwork for many modern aerospace advancements, from hypersonic flight to space travel. The aircraft provided invaluable data that influenced everything from military aircraft to NASA's exploration efforts. The program proved that controlled flight at the edge of space was possible and set the stage for future space missions. Even today, engineers and scientists look back at the X-15's achievements for inspiration as they develop new technologies to explore the skies and beyond. The story of the X-15 is one of courage, innovation, and determination. It represents a time when bold ideas and cutting-edge technology combined to achieve what was once thought impossible. The pilots who flew the X-15 were true pioneers, risking their lives to push the boundaries of human exploration. Their contributions helped pave the way for space travel, and their legacy lives on in every hypersonic aircraft and spacecraft that follows. For those interested in aviation history, the X-15 remains one of the most fascinating and influential aircraft ever built. Its flights provided critical insights into the challenges of high-speed, high-altitude flight and demonstrated the potential for future aerospace advancements. Whether through its record-breaking speeds, its contributions to space exploration, or its influence on modern technology, the X-15 continues to be a symbol of human ingenuity and the relentless pursuit of knowledge.